Corporate funding for Nova Science Now is provided by the following. Foundation funding is provided by
Hello, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, your host of Nova Science Now. You know, the ability to speak is one of those things that makes us humans think we're special.
What?
But researchers have struggled to figure out exactly how we got this talent.
What? Talent?
Because learning to use language takes a lot more than just mindlessly parroting what someone else says.
Mindless!
Now, as correspondent Chad Cohen reports, we're finding new clues in the brains of some animals who have the language ability to even rival our own.
Split infinitive.
Bonjour le chien.
It's a skill that comes naturally to even the tiniest among us.
Un banane.
We take in sounds,
Les clés. Qui veut les clés?
repeat them,
Tu fais au revoir.
Au revoir.
and learn to talk.
Au revoir, le ciel.
We're so good at it, we can even do it in more than one language.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Like these little New Yorkers who are learning French even before they've mastered English.
S'il te plaît.
S'il te plaît.
And yet, we still don't understand how. It's a mystery scientists are starting to unravel by studying a brain about 1,000 times smaller than our own. A brain that's gotten a really bad rap. If someone called you a bird brain, how would you?
Oh, great compliment. The bird brain is a very good brain.
Ofer Chernikowski, one of the world's leading experts in birdsong, thinks the term bird brain is a real misnomer. In fact, he believes the key to solving the mystery of speech lies in the notes of a bird's song.
By looking at the song and see how the song develops, you can understand sometimes very basic principles of how our brain works and how our mind works.
In his lab, Ofer studies an Australian songbird called a zebra finch.
So now you can actually see them side by side.
It turns out this tiny bird learns to sing, much like we learn to speak.
In the beginning, the bird will start singing a very faint, unstructured song, similar to babbling in human infants.
It then starts to mimic the sounds it hears from the adults around it, a lot like we do.
Can you say ham? See the ham?
So birds are vocal learners, and vocal learning is very rare in nature.
While zebra finches learn only one song, other songbirds like canaries can learn new songs seasonally. Some hummingbirds learn songs more bug-like than bird-like. And parrots, like this one named Einstein, can even mimic other species,
Can you do a pig?
adding new words to their repertoire all the time.
What does everybody say in Tennessee?
Einstein seems content to receive a treat for displaying his vocal talents. In the wild, though, male songbirds use their song to defend territory or to woo a mate. The guy with the best song gets the girl. But to get her, he's got to be creative.
Every individual bird has his own song, his own performance. So they imitate, but they also diverge and vary.
And in the process, create rather sophisticated melodies.
So here's a song of a veery, and let's listen to it a little. Does it sound musical to you?
Sounds like a bird.
Okay, I'll slow it down for you.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That's the same bird. Birdsong is so elegant, it's inspired the great masters. Mozart borrowed these notes from his beloved starling. When his muse died, the distraught maestro even gave it a formal funeral and wrote a poem in its honor.
Let me play to you something and see if it reminds you of a piece of music, okay? So here is a wood wren song.
Da-da-da-da. So that's Beethoven's Fifth out of the mouth of a wood wren. That's just crazy. That's just crazy.
Beethoven was really a fraud, huh?
Yeah. So which came first, though? Can you teach?
No, he came first, I can tell you that. At least a few thousand years earlier.
Duke University neurologist Eric Jarvis thinks we have a lot more in common with songbirds than first meets the ear. He's been studying bird brains and comparing them with ours.
The basic similarity between songbirds and humans is that we both have cerebral brain areas that control learned vocal behavior.
So if you look at the cerebral areas of my brain, for example, this area back here helps me understand the words I hear, whereas a little bit further up, this area helps me produce the actual words. It's taking no less than 100 muscles, by the way, just for me to be telling you this. And before I can utter a single word, that word understanding area and that word producing area need to talk to each other through some sophisticated circuitry. A songbird's brain also has areas that process and produce sound, and these areas are also connected through sophisticated circuitry.
For an organism that is so distant from us, that's quite remarkable. Nature is playing a very slick trick right there.
A trick that Dr. Santosh Helikar is using to help unravel the mystery of speech. He's exploring a troubling speech disorder.
I love
Stuttering, a condition that causes patients like Dennis to get stuck on syllables.
Initiative.
Believe it or not, Santosh thinks that some of his zebra finches have a similar problem. Yep, it appears songbirds stutter too.
A normal bird song of a zebra finch consists of a sequence of syllables that are repeated over and over again.
This is the sonogram of a normal zebra finch song. A simple melody consisting of several syllables repeated over and over again. But Santosh's stuttering birds sing like this. They get stuck on one syllable and keep repeating it over and over again. Not unlike what's happening to Dennis.
Hi Santosh, how are you?
Hi Henning, how are you? Good. Yeah, I brought some birds.
Oh yeah, good.
To find out why, Santosh, along with colleague Henning Voss of the Weill Medical College of Cornell, decide to scan the brains of these pint-sized stutterers. To do it, they have to adapt an fMRI machine designed for a human brain to scan one a lot smaller. Henning creates this coil to do the job. Once the tiny patient is mildly sedated, it's put inside the coil and into a soundproof box equipped with headphones. Then bird box and all are placed into the fMRI, and the scanning begins.
We will see the brain from the side.
They soon pick up a signal.
This is the forebrain, the cerebellum. Here one can see midbrain and spinal cord coming out, maybe.
Right.
And the beak.
Now it's time for the entertainment portion of our program. The tiny patient is played a familiar melody, the song of its father, who first taught him how to sing. As it listens, the scanner picks up increased blood flow in the part of the brain used to process sound.
Okay, we have very nice activations, right?
Smack in the middle of the hearing center within the brain.
The scans show nice activation, but when they compare the results of these stuttering birds with scans of normal birds, they find a difference.
The stuttering bird's brain doesn't have the same pronounced activation as a normal bird has.
If I tease the initiative...
And here's where it gets really interesting. It turns out similar activation patterns are found in human stutterers. Stutterers have less activity in an area of the brain used to process sound than normal speakers do. This connection between human brains and bird brains poses yet another question for researchers. How did two distinctly different species end up with not only intriguingly similar vocal learning systems, but similar speech disorders? The answer may lie in our genes.
What?
Back in the 1990s, researchers found a genetic link to language when they discovered an English family suffering from a rare speech disorder.
Where do you live, Laura?
This family had extreme difficulty with vocalization, with
moving their mouths around in the right way, with putting the sounds in the right order.
Genetic studies revealed a single gene mutation was the cause. The faulty gene called FOXP2 was christened the language gene.
That discovery prompted myself and Constance Scharf, a longtime collaborator of mine, to examine whether or not something was similar in songbirds.
Do birds have a FOXP2 gene? Because that wasn't clear at the time.
Well, they not only found the FOXP2 gene in birds, they discovered how it influences the way a bird learns to sing.
When the young birds are learning how to imitate songs, the FOXP2 gene was going up.
This enabled cells to produce more protein.
And after learning was complete, it went down. Not only that, we found that in canaries, who can continue to learn song throughout life, at the time of the year they're learning how to imitate new songs, the FOXP2 gene goes up again.
An amazing discovery that brings with it a whole other set of questions. FOXP2 is found in just about everything from fish to yeast.
Even in flies and bees. So it's not the gene that makes us speak. It's a gene that is being used in many neighborhoods.
Eric Jarvis, for one, is committed to figuring this out. He's set his sights on identifying other genes that may hold the key to why we can speak. Birds can sing, and others, even our closest relatives, cannot. It's not for lack of communication skills. Since the 1970s, researchers have demonstrated that chimps understand our words and can even answer back.
You feed me. You feed me fruit.
Chimps have this ability of sign language. They already have language with the hands. They just can't do it with the voice.
Jarvis theorizes that a few unknown genes give us something the chimps don't have. That neural circuitry connecting the word understanding area of our brain to the word producing area. Without this circuitry, he surmises, chimps can't speak.
It's not such a crazy idea to think that a few genes have to be mutated to get such a system in the brain.
A system that gives us the gift of gab and our feathered friends inspiring melodies.
I love these little guys, but now doubly so because they are a model organism. We can seriously study them.
Whether it's through words or song, one thing's for certain. We aren't the only ones with something to say.
How about a chimpanzee?